Plaintiff Maria Sharp dated and lived with the defendant. However, Maria claims she broke up with him because he was a heavy drinker with anger issues. And then she discovered he had an extensive criminal record. Maria is suing her ex for personal property. Defendant Dan Wilson says the reason he broke up with Maria is because he discovered that she had a husband. And after the split, he realized that she used to be a prostitute and a stripper. Dan's countersuing for lost wages and emotional distress.
Start with you.
In 2002, I met Mr. Wilson at a bar. Approximately a month later, we started dating. Not long after that, he was having problems with his mother at home and needed a place to go. He called me and asked me if I would let him come stay at my house, so I did. Because of his behavior and his habits, which was drinking and driving, things of that nature, he had anger issues. It was not things I wanted my children to see. I asked him to move out. But we remained friends. I found out he had more of an extensive criminal history than what I originally had.
Where was your husband at when you met me?
You want me to respond, sir?
Yeah.
He was in prison. He was in prison.
Your husband was in prison?
He was in prison.
I'm not the only one standing here with a DUI on their record, neither.
Oh, she has one also?
I have more than one, Your Honor.
How many do you have?
3.
Who has the most? Whoever has the most, raise your hand.
I'm just being honest.
Why would you want to mention that subject matter?
Well, because I'm trying to be honest with you that I learned from my mistakes.
Okay.
I went through extensive counseling.
Good.
I'm trying to change my ways.
Good.
I've learned a lot from my mistakes.
Excellent.
I'm trying to be a better person.
Excellent.
The bottom line was my husband was in prison in California facing 3 strikes. I never thought he was coming back. Okay, I was moving on with my life.
Till you went and found you another jailbird.
Didn't realize when I met him he was a jailbird. That came later.
But you got even more in love when you found out he was.
No, actually I did not.
Like a young man that's been locked up for 8 years.
Actually, I was a little leery.
When did you break up?
It wasn't a month or 2.
Let me hear from you, sir.
Like she said, we were together a couple years, and the reason we split up, even with my faults, is because I found out she had a husband, didn't know that for a long time, and then she admitted to me one night that she prostituted herself for $300 at the club she had me working at. You know, she dances. I don't have a problem with a dancer. I'm open. I'd done a little time. I was looking for a little fun.
You mean ballet?
No. No, sir.
Modern dance.
Exotic dance.
African dance.
No, I worked in adult entertainment establishment.
Right now?
But no, at the time I met him. But I was a bartender when I met him.
I think the lifestyle caught up a little.
I was a bartender when I met him, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. No. Go ahead, sir.
She was pretty good on that pole back in the day.
All right. Go ahead.
Anyway, we didn't talk for a long time. It was a couple years. And then she called me out of the blue and asked me if I would take her dog Jake because she couldn't feed him.
When did she call you out of the blue?
That was like September, October 2009.
Okay.
It was an off and on relationship.
The only reason she called you...
We were a booty call there for a long time, depending whether her husband was in or out. It depended on whether he was in or out.
Okay, if he was in...
I was in.
You were in.
If he was out, I was out.
All right. September of 2009, she called to ask if you would...
Take the dog. So I felt a little bad for her, and I did miss her. I mean, we had some good times. I can't talk all bad about her, you know? Mm-hmm. But she moved back in. It just didn't work out. And I didn't try to keep her things. Roger was there when we packed the U-Haul.
That's what she's suing for, the belongings. Go ahead, ma'am.
When I spoke to Mr. Wilson about taking my dog, I was living in a home with no electricity. It was in the middle of winter. My was escaped. He was, a year before, I had to take an EPO out on him because he abducted me. I was scared to be in my home. He had 3 bedrooms. He offered to rent me a room. I was just trying to buy some time till the law got my husband off the street. He wanted to make it a relationship. He wanted to try again. He's right. We did have some good times. I said, okay, we'll give it a shot. He said he had changed a lot over the years. He had matured, grown up. So we did give it a try. But it wasn't long after I was there when I realized he was still the practicing alcoholic that he was. He was still angry. He still had
doing your thing.
He still had violent tendencies. He would throw brushes at me. He threatened to throw me out on the expressway, doing 70 miles an hour. I'd already spoke to my alcohol counselor and my counselor about how I was going to get out of this situation because I was in a worse situation than I was in before I went there. The day that I left his house, he got drunk. He threatened to bash my brains in.
When was this?
This was February 28th of 2010.
All right.
All right? It was over money. He wanted me to give him money that I did not have. He kicked the door in, okay? I called Mr. Eaton on the phone so someone could hear what was going on because I had no witnesses. He kicked the door in to my bedroom, which had an adjoining bathroom and a garden tub room. I went into that room and locked the door. He was going to kick that door in. I let him know that Mr. Eaton was on the phone and I had a witness. So he continued to cuss me, but he didn't kick the second door in.
Were you calling 911 as well?
Right then, I was trying to get a witness. I didn't know what he was going to do to me. I was trying to get a witness, sir. Okay?
A witness to what? A witness to your murder?
To his violence. Well, at that point, he could have killed me before the police got there.
It's always better to stop the murder as opposed to getting a witness to the murder.
I understand that, sir. Sir, I understand that. Anyway, he said, I'm going to go call my mom and get a witness here, too. So he did that. He did that.
A witness to what? To nothing?
Him putting me out. That's what his witness was supposed to be, okay? So she did show up. She told him that he was wrong. She told him that he needed to stop drinking. She gave me a ride, let me get a few things together. She took me to her house for my safety. We sat and we talked, and she told me, she said, don't cry, you're better off now than to find out later. You're better off without him. She even offered to let me stay at her house till I could find a place to stay.
You never moved back, obviously?
No.
And you didn't get all your belongings?
Right.
All right, let me allow him to respond, particularly, sir, to this physical abuse.
No, I've definitely been known to put my hands on a grown man.
You have? Oh, on a grown man.
I myself, as a young man, made mistakes. Did 8 years in the penitentiary in Kentucky. Got my electrical degree while I was in there. I've had the same job since September of 2002 when I got out.
Good. Good to hear that.
Have turned it around.
You got your training while you were
I got my degree there, yes.
Good. I hope some of the other prisoners are watching so they can understand the possibility of real rehabilitation.
You just got to want it.
Mm-hmm. Good.
But, I've been known to drink some beer. I can hold my own. I did, I was 4'11", 80 pounds when I hit that yard. It wasn't no fun when Rabbit had the gun.
That's right.
And so, I've got tendencies, but no one has...
Violent tendencies? Is that what you...
Yeah,
that's what you
I got it under control these days.
Yeah, but did you assault her?
No, I do not put my hands on women and children.
You deny kicking in the doors?
No, I kicked the door, didn't touch her.
Okay. Now, her belongings, she says she left and didn't get all her things.
I definitely gave her things. I had found a job in Owensboro, Kentucky, which meant I had to get in the motel. So I wouldn't allow her in my house while I was not there. She had the option to show up on the weekends, and my mother also come over during the week. I mean, she had a house full of stuff. My mother helped her pack those things. I have a statement from my mother, a statement from my brother, and a statement from a neighbor.
Your mother's statement says what?
It says that she packed Maria's stuff.
And your brother's statements say what?
That he was aware that we packed a U-Haul.
Aware, or was he with them?
He was not there. Me and my brother
Who was there?
Me, my mother, her husband, Roger.
Statements you have today.
The neighbor saw the U-Haul and my mother.
All right. Sir, why don't you stand up? State your name.
Roger Eaton.
Now, were you there, or did you observe any moving of her items?
I observed the moving of her items, and I rented a U-Haul to get her possessions out.
Okay.
But he refused to open up a storage locker, and after the truck was full, he would not allow her to get any more, even though his mother a couple times came to her house with like a fish tank or something like that, but he refused to give a lot of her possessions back.
Is that true?
No, sir.
Did she go into the storage area?
I opened the shed, took out the ball bats and baseball things from the kids.
She went through
Christmas stuff.
Did she go through it?
No.
Why?
She just didn't. I didn't lock it in front of her. The doors were wide open.
He wouldn't allow me, sir.
Did not lock it.
Doors were locked.
She had free reign. Like I said, it was.
Why do you think she's making this up then?
She's a scorned woman.
All right. Scorned woman since when?
Since it didn't work out.
When did you break up?
February 28th, 2010.
All right, so a whole year, she's still scorned.
Apparently, it took this long for her to come get her stuff. It's so-called stuff.
When did she get her things?
I'm gonna say September.
Ma'am, when is the last time you went to get your items?
The day of the U-Haul. That's the last day I
What
went.
month and year
March,
was that?
March of 2010.
And you never went back again?
No, because his mother was working with me.
You never went back again?
No, sir.
Anyone have any evidence regarding the dates that we're discussing?
I have a
or
U-Haul
any dates
receipt.
at all?
I have
Evidence.
U-Haul
What is
receipt.
that?
U-Haul receipt.
Very good.
I have text messages. I got the U-Haul receipt.
What are the text messages?
The text messages where I'm asking him to
I'll read it.
return
Hand
my
it to
property.
me, please. This is July 10th. I have your fish tanks. I will give them to Mom. You have nothing else in my house. And I'm going to look at what the U-Haul says. The U-Haul says March 29th. Sir, you say the last time he came with the U-Haul was when?
That date, I'm sure they got the receipt. I know it was 3-4 weeks after February 28th. I mean,
All right.
I didn't
Your
remember.
counterclaim for
Yeah, it's just
lost
been a
wages
hassle.
and emotional distress. How?
Yeah, it's been a complete hassle. Well, she left a couple cats there that night because she couldn't take them with her. And so I had to miss work, which I have a statement from work saying I missed.
And you're saying you should be paid to babysit cats?
No,
That's what
I
you want?
no, it's not babysitting cats.
What is it for then?
It's missed wages.
For what?
Because I could not go out of town.
Because you had to do what?
Wait on her to come get the animals.
And wait on her how? Sit at home?
Yes.
Sit.
When the job.
With what? Cats. Emotional distress is for what, sir?
Just all the drama. I think this is frivolous.
Gotcha. It's not frivolous when admittedly you were kicking the door. Secondly, the lost wages for cat sitting, I'm not granting you that. You could have taken the cats to animal daycare if you wanted to go to work. Under no circumstances is it reasonable that you would sit at home, miss your job, jeopardize your job to keep some cats because she won't come and get them. Lastly, the only evidence I am presented with, unless you have some written evidence
Yes, sir.
about the belongings,
Yes,
what
sir.
evidence do you have?
I have
Statements from your mother?
My mother.
What dates do they give? I want to hear dates.
All she put down was a Sunday evening.
Right, and I have specific dates here.
Okay.
I have evidence that, as she says, they went to get with a U-Haul March of 10. No one goes with a U-Haul and fails to get all their things and never goes back. Then a few months later, you tell her you still have her things. So I'm going to go
She knew
with
she
the
left
evidence that I have, not what you say, not what your mama says, not what anyone says, other than what I've been presented with, which has corresponding dates with their testimony. Judgment for the plaintiff, $2,000. Your claim for cat sitting and emotional distress is dismissed. Have a good day.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would like to say that I'm not angry with you, Danny. I truly hope that you get some counseling because you have great potential
You're
to be
so
a good
great.
man. I'm not angry. I'm
Her
glad that-
Facebook on her employer, it's God. I want to know what strip club God owns. I want to go donate to the cause.
Hello, Judge Mathis. My name is Alfred, and I have a question. If I have a joint bank account with my daughter and she overdraws the account, can I sue her for overdraft fees?
Well, Alfred, if you can show that your daughter committed a negligent or unlawful act that caused the account to be overdrawn, you may be able to recoup the charges that resulted from her actions.